At exactly 53 minutes past 8 a.m. on this beautiful Wednesday, we are pleased that you have chosen to stay tuned to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Ndegwa, and the Kenya Institute of Public Policy Research and Analysis held the 6th regional conference last month from the 21st to 23rd, and I am pleased to be joined by Dr. Rose Ngugi, who is the Executive Director of the institution, and she is here to just let us in on how far they have gone in this and what is being done so far as the growth and development of arid and semi-arid lands is concerned. Dr. Rose, welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you very much.
I can see that we are matching. It's like we came from the same house, you know?
It looks like,
the polka dots, the coat. I love it. I love that we were in spirit.
Good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so it is right to just mention that the arid and semi-arid lands occupy over 80% of Kenya's landmark. So the growth of these areas is really an important conversation to be having, don't you agree?
Yes, it's a very important conversation that we should be having. You know, in economics we say that one of the factors of production is actually land. So when you have over 80% of the land in arid, it means that we have one of the factors that can grow this economy actually in arid and semi-arid areas. And it means that if we are able to exploit fully the opportunities that it has, we can actually take this country to a different level. One, in terms of diversifying the sources of growth. Two, in terms of reducing poverty and inequality. And three, in terms of generating revenue for the government. So exploiting the 80% of our land means a lot to even meeting the goals that we have put under Vision 2030. We aspired to meet 10% of growth, but we are only utilizing less than 20% of the land. And it's for this reason that we found it necessary to focus our attention on the ASAL areas because we see the future of this country development agenda very much focusing on exploiting opportunities in the ASALs.
When we talk of arid and semi-arid areas, it is clear that these are the dry areas of the country. And before we get into talking about the growth, the economic growth and development, maybe just to get to know, is there anything that is being done concerning the food deficit in these areas?
Anytime we have drought in this country, the most affected is the ASAL areas. They are affected because of their economic system. They rely on livestock quite a lot, and they have also a very high level of pastoralism, which means that anytime the drought hits, they don't have a cushioning factor, for example, for grazing, and therefore when the pastures are gone with the drought, actually their economy actually collapses. And this means that you either don't have means of meeting your livelihoods, or you don't have a source of food, and therefore you have to rely on either assistance from outside. But they are actually, we've realized that from the conference that there are some arable lands inside the ASAL area which can actually be exploited for food production, and that would help to diversify the sources of food in the ASAL areas. In addition, we have situations in Kenya where you have plenty For example, in Kinango, plenty in the highlands, and when you go to the ASALS, there is very little. And one of the things that you find is the distribution element. So you have plenty food and scarcity at the same time. And one of the key things that creates this kind of situation is even information. There is no information that is, going to the farmers where there is plenty. And the farmers where there is plenty, they are also not able to aggregate their product that they want to sell, such that when they get to the market, they also can make something for themselves. You see, if I'm just a farmer, I only have one gunia of cabbages. I would like the next farmer and the next farmer, if we can join all hands, we can make 1 ton of cabbages. And that way you can be able to take it to areas which have deficits. So creating awareness, information asymmetry in terms of the markets and what is needed, at what time, would help us to actually say at any point in time that we don't have situations where we have scarcity and plenty at the same time. But in addition to that, there is quite a lot that the government is trying actually to do in terms of, the Kenya Meat Commission that was started a long time ago, and it has been revived even recently. One of the things that it was meant to do is actually to provide a ready market for the livestock, for the arid areas, such that if you are able to sell to Kenya Meat Commission, then Kenya Meat Commission is able to distribute also to the other side. So the distribution element is what actually is a key area that we need to concentrate on.
Okay, I get that. So if you could just take us through some of the take-homes from the conference that you had last month.
I'll start by saying that we had a very, very successful conference. We were able to bring in almost everybody from all the counties, and most importantly from all the ASAL counties. These including both the youth, including government officers, including private sector, and also including partners who operate in these areas. So we had also a very good turn-up for the youth. We gave them a space to discuss their issues, and they were able to come up with the areas that they feel is critical to them making a difference to the ASAL areas. As you know, it was also graced by the
Deputy President.
The Deputy President. It was really an honor for us, and it was also a signal that there is goodwill from very top to actually accelerate growth and development of ASALS. That is the signal that we got. So it also gave us the next thing, and that is a starting point of these discussions, because for us we provided a platform for all of us to gather and discuss issues. But as His Excellency, the Deputy President told us, it's a beginning of a discussion, and we should have started it long time ago, not now. But since we have started it, we need to move forward, And for us to move forward, we all need to work together, whether we are in the media, whether we are in KIPPRA, where we are doing our research work, at capacity building, whether we are development partners, whether we are youth, we all need to actually work together, because all of us have a space in accelerating growth and development of the ASALS. So from the conference, we talked about so many things, and I think I may not manage to tell you everything, but I can give you some key areas that I feel touch on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that touches on it. And one of the areas that is very critical is agricultural transformation, as far as the beta is concerned. And what we realize is that there are quite a lot of opportunities, in as much as the livestock is the key driver of economic activity. We realize that there are opportunity for beekeeping, apiculture, There are also opportunities for fishing. You have Kilifi as a coastline, you have Turkana, there is a lake, you have Lake Bogoria and the others. So blue economy is a key area that we need to exploit. And of course, there are about 700 square kilometers of land that can actually is allowable, which means that we can do agriculture. We can produce food with it, yeah. So all that we require is, first of all, is to look at aspects of enhancing agricultural productivity for the livestock, which means that we need to ensure that there is pasture adequate for the animals. In addition, is to grow the entrepreneurial capabilities, yeah, because we realize that even aspects like poultry it can also do very well in ASAL areas, but also cultural change, such that you don't necessarily remove people from what is their ecosystem, but you try to bring in something additional which they can actually practice and move forward with. So that way you'll be able to really enhance agriculture, not just in the highlands, but also in the ASAL areas. The other thing that is very clear from the better economic transformation agenda is creative economy. And with creative economy, it's very huge. And what came out is that ASALs and arid area especially, they are very rich. They have cultural resources, very rich in cultural resources, very rich in cultural heritage, very rich in, beadwork. If you talk about beadwork in Kenya, the first thing that comes to your mind is maybe Turkana area, maybe Masai area, and the like. And then you ask yourself, if you go to outside Kenya, where can you buy these commodities? You find that the market is very limited, yeah? So, and the thing that need to then to come in is how do we either standardize so that we meet the standards at the international market level, and then make sure that the quality is such that it meets the needs of the outside customer, diversified needs of the customers. That way, you will therefore be able to expand the market. You'll be able to tell the women who are doing beadwork that there is a market beyond Kenya, there is a market beyond the region that you're operating, there is a market, but you need actually to do it in this form. Make sure that the standards are met, make sure that there's some quality control that is, so that you can sell your product. But in addition to that is that there are talents that we need to manage. You know, the sportsmen and women actually come from this area, and we need to nurture that talent because it's a resource for the region. Knowledge management. When we say that, when you talk about development and you want to bring in initiatives into a county or community, the first thing we need to understand is the system has been operating, which means that there is an indigenous knowledge that is already existing in that community. What we need to do is to tap into it and ask ourselves, I don't think anybody in there was taken to school to do beadwork. No, it is something that has been nurtured over time, yeah? So we can actually tap into indigenous knowledge and be able to exploit opportunities, make them commercial. Let them not remain at traditional level. It's a way of doing things, very good, but can we commercialize it so that you get to uplift the standards of living of this community? Yeah.
Okay. Just how far in are we in terms of the progress in accelerating development in these areas? at the moment as a country?
At the moment, I would say that there are quite a number of initiatives. You know very well that the largest weed power plant is actually in the ASAL areas, in Turkana area. You also know that we have the LAPSET. You remember the LAPSET project?
Yes.
Which is supposed to bring not just a road, but is also supposed to bring a railway and also a pipeline. Yeah. There's quite a lot that is happening as far as infrastructure development is concerned. But there are still gaps.
Yeah.
In the sense that you'd want to feel that I can leave Nairobi at a certain time, and I arrive in Marsabit, I go to Moyale, I go to Lokichogio, I go to Lamu, without having to blink that is the road okay? Is there security? Will I get internet connectivity? Will I be able to transact? So there's still more that needs to be done to ensure that internet connectivity is actually accelerated. There's still more to be done to ensure that road infrastructure and networking helps us to move around the area. It's a very massive area, which means that there's still a lot of investment that is required in the area for road infrastructure. And of course, when that is done, what you'll find is that you will be able to attract even foreign direct investments because this is an area that you have museums that are yet to get to a standard where you can say, let's get to the international market and let's sell this, what we are having. This is an area that you have fishing at Turkana area, but you can have a very nice fish processing plant that is there. This is an area where you have artisanal collecting minerals, small minerals here and there, but you can make it commercialized, right? So the infrastructure development is going on, and there is quite a lot of initiatives that are happening. Dams are also being put across. There's a dam actually in Kitui, another one in Makueni, and we also know that there is a dam that is also coming that His Excellency the President is still negotiating to ensure that it starts off. So these are initiatives that are going on, but we still need to make more strides to facilitate accelerate growth.
Okay, you've pointed out the gaps that are there and also mentioned what needs to be done, what more needs to be done. What are some of the challenges that you would say you are facing in order to make this a success?
Okay, let me start by saying that devolution has made a difference because it has put decisions on where we want to go to the communities at the ground, right? But we know that private sector needs to play a major key role. The government can do just as much to facilitate in terms of creating an enabling environment. So when I say that we need the infrastructure, it's actually to facilitate, to create an enabling environment, Because when you create an enabling environment, private sector should come in. As long as private sector feels that I can make my profit, I can make a return at the end of the day in whatever I'm trying to do. I can move in very safely with my equipment and I can set it up and tomorrow I'll find it safe. That's all I want. I want to have. I can say start my irrigation scheme in a certain area, and actually I'll find I can harvest at the end of the day. So creating a neighboring environment is what is going to ensure that private sector comes in and it's able to enhance investments. Government can just do as much, but private sector has a key role that it needs to play.
Yeah, you've mentioned investments, and I want to get into that. What are some of the investment opportunities that are available in these areas, the ASAL areas?
There are quite a number. Like I've said, first of all, this is an area that we are saying we can get solar energy. How much have we invested? This is an area that we are saying we can get wind power. How much have we invested from the private sector? This is an area we are saying that we need to accelerate the lab set. If we have a public-private partnership, it's an opportunity that can be grabbed. It's an area where we have seen archaeological sites. We have seen museums, but they are yet to get to international standards. It's an investment that can be done. It's an area that I've indicated, for example, the beadwork. But it is so concentrated just to serve actually the community. Yet I would like to see, for example, when I'm flying with the KQ, I don't see that beadwork. That does not reflect Kenya. I would like to see that it is maybe a beadwork that is reflecting Turkana, reflecting Masai, reflecting whatever. But you need to invest in terms of ensuring that the products are at a certain standard. So the investment opportunities are enormous.
They're enormous.
Yes.
Yeah. As you say, they're enormous. So what is KIPPRA doing to ensure that you create these opportunities?
Let me say, KIPPRA has one main role to play, and that is to ensure that we generate the evidence and we help to shape the policy framework. When we do that, the expectation is that the policy framework will be able to attract the investment. Say, for example, recently we worked with the Kenya National Council for Leather to put together the policy framework for national leather for Kenya. What does that do? It means that you are already providing a platform for private sector to telling the private sector, this is where we want to go as far as leather industry is concerned. This is what, as a government, we are going to provide for you. We are going to do A, B, C, and D. For you, then you can come in and take advantage. So as an institution, that is where our role is. For example, now from this conference, what is it that we are going to do from a lot of information that we gathered from it? We are going, for example, to relook at the policies that are existing, to see whether they have gaps that need to be addressed, so that the issues that have come from the conference are able to accommodated, and therefore we have a policy framework that is accommodative of all the needs that we require to develop the region.
Okay. Now the Digital Economy Initiative for Africa aims to ensure that every individual, business and government in the continent will be digitally enabled by the year 2030. Just how important is that, and what role does the digital economy play in the growth of arid and semi-arid areas?
Very good question. Very, very good. And good in the sense that we are talking about it in the post-COVID period. Before COVID, digital was just there.
Yes.
But I think digital economy actually came through to tell us that business continuity can actually be collapsed if you don't have a digital whatever, if you're not in a digital economy. But it doesn't mean that it is not there in our Vision 20. In our Vision 2030, we talk about a knowledge-based economy through digitization, and What you see there in beta is the superhighway digital infrastructure that the government wants to put, as well as digitizing about over 80% of government services. What does that mean? It means that first of all, I can get government services readily, get them, yeah? I don't have to travel maybe very far distances, yeah?
True.
If I can even put it to say that with digitization, you can manage even to monitor my health. I saw that there is an initiative actually to even have some gadgets which you can monitor and be able to remind the mothers that it's time to go for clinic. Yeah, that is very, 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 very innovative. And what it does, it does not leave you as an individual in a helpless situation. You're able to get access to the services. When we talk about even education, we realize that if you have digital platforms, you don't have to think so much about maybe physically having the teachers on the ground. We know that this is an area where sometimes teachers fear to go and stay there. But with digital technology, it means that you can actually manage to continue giving a high-quality education to the peoples on the ground, even through digital platforms. Yeah? But more importantly also is the e-commerce that's coming in. Yeah. So so maybe I want to sell my goat, I want to sell my livestock, I want to sell maybe some purpose that I've just cultivated. Yeah. With the with the e-commerce, it means that you are able to know where the market is. You're also able to know the customers, and probably the customers that you have, what do you call them? They follow you all the time. They'll ask you, "Is the honey ready?" You don't need to travel. All you need is to just get the information that I need a restocking of my honey, and something like that. So it has quite a lot of potential to actually enable networking and connectivity for this vast land. And that in itself would help to grow the activities themselves.
Okay. How are we improving financial inclusion in ASALS?
Yes. Financial inclusion, if you look at the statistics recently released, they say that over 89% Kenya is financially included. Yeah? And if you look at the differences between arid and the other arable areas, you notice sometimes on average, the differences are not as much. Yeah? And then when you get inside to ask yourself, but we don't have as many banks there, but we don't have as many, then you realize that a lot of the financial inclusion is coming also from tapping into fintech, right? So for example, when you have M-Pesa, it means that you are able to find financial inclusion because you can do transactions not necessarily through the banks, but you can do transactions through your your phone. Yeah.
Yes.
And the good thing also with the phone is that it uses the USSD code. So in some situations, it's not necessary that you have to have internet connectivity, but you can use the USSD code. Yeah. So financial inclusion has grown in the region. First of all, because of the fintech. Fintech has made a difference in the ASAL areas, yeah? But recently, you've seen that there are quite a number of banks that are also opening up. Initially, branches used to be very expensive, yeah? So they are agencies. They have gone into the agency kind of model, yeah?
Yes.
And with the agency kind of model, it means that if you have a shopkeeper in, say, Moyale, he can open up an agency for Cooperative Bank, it can open up an agency for KCB Bank.
Yes.
So what does that mean? It means that you're able to financially include even those who are not included. Yes.
Okay. As we wind up because of time, during the conference you had around 289 youths in attendance representing all these arid and semi-arid areas. Maybe very quickly, what are some of the opportunities available for the youth, and how do the youth of these areas explore the opportunities that are available for them?
Again, a very good question, because the youth also came up with their own communique on what is it that they are looking for. And one of the things that they are saying is that we have, for example, the National Youth Council, which is supposed to bring the youth together. Yeah. But at the ground, they need to feel it, yeah, so that they are mobilized in a systematic way to really either create awareness, but at the same time to even drive them to opportunities that are there. They also indicate that they need training, entrepreneurial training, so that they are able to tap effectively, as well as to have financial support for innovation. They are innovative, but innovation requires a lot of research. Innovation requires a lot of risk-taking. Innovation requires you to have financing for you to get to the next level, yeah, of business, making it a business, yeah. So in their communique, they are requesting to be financially supported. And we can now see, for example, in the Hustler Fund and other funds that are available, Youth Enterprise Development Fund, it provides them with an opportunity actually to tap into such kind of funding to help them to move on forward with the innovation that they want to bring in supporting development of the ASAL areas.
Okay, we'll have to end the discussion. We need to be, gone. Thank you so much for the opportunity and coming through to talk to us on this matter.